Hey, welcome back to another episode of Pro Interviews, and I'm here today with the one and only NBA veteran, Ronny Turiaf. Ronny, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So why don't we kind of just start off by talking a little bit about your background, where you grew up, how you got introduced to the game, kind of all that sort of stuff.
Well, to keep it short, born and raised in the Caribbean, in the beautiful island of Martinique. Very proud of that. To be able to claim Martinique. Played sports throughout my life. I tried my hands on everything because I was this kid that I still do have a lot of excess of energy.
All right.
So I was always getting myself in trouble. So my parents decided to put me into soccer, tennis, handball, anything you can imagine. Until the day my dad basically, I was a pretty good soccer player. And then there was an article about me in the newspaper, and everybody was so much shorter compared to me. And my dad was like, you know what? I want you to feel like you belong in the sports, and I want you to be surrounded by tall people. And then just like that, I became a basketball player overnight.
Cool. So when you played soccer, what position did they have you at? Did they just slap you at goalie since you were tall?
Well, you know what? I started being, I did everything reverse. So I started on offense
Okay.
and I finished goalkeeper. And that's where I was really good.
I was gonna say, I bet they really like that wingspan in the goal.
Yeah, I was really good at that. And I enjoyed it very much. And you know what? Especially in the Caribbean at the time, we had a goalkeeper named Bernard Lama, and which was the French national team goalkeeper. And he was from French Guyana. And he was the guy that kind of like made me want to play soccer and be a goalkeeper.
Cool, cool. All right, well, let's fast forward a little bit kind of to your collegiate career at Gonzaga. So I grew up about 2 hours away from Gonzaga, so I was really familiar with the program. I grew up going to their team camps and stuff, and I was actually like maybe a freshman in high school right about when you were kind of playing there. So kind of walk us through kind of that recruiting experience, how you got hooked up at Gonzaga, and kind of how that all went down.
Well, it was crazy because I played at in INSEP, the French National Institute of Sports, with Boris Di and Tony
Okay.
Parker and all those guys. So my life has been a series of like wonderful, crazy moments because I was getting recruited by all those big name school and everything. And Gonzaga just so happened to be in Croatia, Eastern Europe, and I was doing I think it was the European Championship, and they was recruiting somebody else, and I ended up breaking the backboard. I ended up winning winning the goal, the basket to win the whole tournament. So they can kind of like was like, oh, we like this crazy little 6'9", 6'10" skinny kid that have energy and that do crazy stuff. And they called me every Sunday when I was back at school. So it was a definite super cool experience. And I'm a pretty loyal guy. So if you show me loyalty, I will give you everything I have.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, it was great watching you through those Gonzaga years and then kind of as you transitioned to the NBA. So what was kind of the biggest jump, in your opinion, from going from the collegiate level to the NBA?
Everybody was a star in college,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah.
And I think for me, that was the biggest thing. And also, I think that the biggest adjustment that I had to make is I had to really think of the game. You can't just come into the NBA and thinking that you're going to do whatever you have to do, that you were successful in the past is going to work in the NBA because you're playing against the best of the best, the cream of the crop. So you have to be able to think the game.
Cool, cool. And yeah, I mean, once you get to the NBA, everybody's a freak athletically, so now you kind of got to start using the brain a little bit more and kind of really develop those skills and stuff. All right, very cool. So, yeah, I got a quick little funny story. I actually saw you circa like 2009. You were with the Lakers, and I went to Los Angeles. My wife had an internship for the summer. We were driving down the street, and you were walking down the road, and I saw you, and I remember you from the Gonzaga days, and so I yelled out the window. I yelled, "Go Zags!" And you gave me a nice big old fist pump. So that was always nice. And
I'm all about the Zags, my brother. Once a Zag, always a Zag. Zags for life, baby.
it's crazy. We're full circle now. I'm talking to you. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So
That's how life usually works.
all right. So kind of looking at your success as a basketball player, what do you think's one or maybe a couple attributes that you think have allowed you to be a successful basketball player, other than your size and speed and strength and that stuff?
It's I think that to my experience, not knowing English when I first came to America forced me to be able to survive real quick
Cool.
and to pay attention to what people are saying and to basically just copy and paste what I'm being told. And I think that that's one of the things that for me has always helped me succeed. And I remember in college, Coach Few calling me a sponge is because I had to look at what people was doing and do it again, and like not even trying to put my own sauce on it and just doing things very, very fast. And I think that's one of the things that helped me is like a coach give me an instruction, I pride myself in just doing it right away. And I think that's one of the things that helped me. And I think the other attribute is that, man, being from an island where there is 400,000 people, man, I just appreciate life. And after what I went through with my heart surgery and everything, that I don't really, I mean, I do stress sometimes like everybody else, but it kind of gives me a different perspective on what I do for a living and what I try to accomplish.
For sure, for sure. All right, very cool, very cool. So, kind of let's move into some kind of skill development talk here. So, in the off seasons, could you walk us through kind of maybe what like a general workout would look like as far as your kind of your continuing skill development?
Well, it really depends of the time. I usually try to take away, take a couple weeks off, where I can just go see my family and kind of like rest the body a little bit. And then once the season starts, I usually go 2 days, 3 days
Cool.
with physical work in the morning, with a little bit of skill work in the afternoon, and then you come back at night and just finishing off by some other skill work or physical activity. So it really depends of what session I'm in and what my trainer wants to do, but it's usually pretty intense.
Very cool. So, do you normally work out in like a small group environment, or are you just individual kind of one-on-one stuff?
Well, it really depends. Once again, last year I did it a lot with the physical stuff. We did it a lot with Sasha Vujacic, Charlie Villanueva, James Harden, a little bit Blake, DeAndre came at the end. Ryan Kelly. So there's different times for everything. We
Cool.
usually just work out in a group, and I think that sometimes elevate everybody else's energy level and desire to just keep on getting better. When you feel like you're down a little bit, the other guys is picking you back up. And this summer, I did it with Shabazz Mohammed and Anthony Bennett. So it really depends of which summer and what time of the year it is and where the guys are.
Oh, nice, nice, very cool. So do you do the summers in Los Angeles most of the time?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I do the summers in Los Angeles.
All
And I
right,
love it.
very cool. You gotta love that LA weather.
No question. Not as good as the Caribbean weather, but it's pretty close.
I know I'm pretty psyched. I'm going to St. Lucia on vacation in a few months here, so I'm pumped. It's gonna be my first time kind of down that direction.
Well, you'll be 30 minutes away from my island, so please wave hello to my family when you get there.
Will do. I'll shout out from the plane.
Sounds good.
All right, so kind of moving on. Let's talk about like maybe your favorite post move and a counter to a post move. Because one thing that I've always appreciated about your game is that you have great footwork. So what are your go-to moves?
My go-to move is very simple. It's 2-3 dribble to the middle to a jump hook, and the counter to that is 2-3 dribble to a turnaround or to a drop step. But I also like to include my passing game. Because I feel like if you go to the middle, if you go in an attack mode, you are able to create the defense to collapse and
For
to
sure.
be able to knock out shooters. And throughout my years, and especially playing for Phil Jackson, the Lakers, and playing for the Golden State Warriors, and then with New York and all that stuff, I had the chance to play with coaches that were really fond of my passing abilities. And I'm still trying to get myself a triple double, and I'm hoping that I can do that. I came close a couple times, but it's definitely fun for me to be able to find my shooters open and to get the 3-pointers and to just get everybody excited and to get the defense collapsed.
Cool. Well, you're gonna have a good group this year to try to get that triple double. You got a lot of scorers, a lot of shooters on the team. It could be a good year for it.
Most definitely. I mean, we have a young, hungry team that definitely has the mentality to get better. And I think that we have different lineup that you can play. We have cutters, shooters, athletes, just passers, scorers. We have everything that we can ask, and I think it's going to be a difficult process that we have to go through, just like every team has to go through in the NBA, where if we stay focused and we stay together, we can make something special happen.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. All right, so like kind of moving back to like we were talking about the jump hook before. I mean, I kind of feel like the jump hook's a little bit of a lost art. You don't see very many guys come into the NBA ready to shoot that jump hook. What's maybe one or two mistakes that you see a lot of young players making, whether they be high school players or college players, as far as either their training or their development that could help them out later on?
I think that if I had to pick one or two things, I think it would be the desire to be great.
Okay.
Is something that's what makes us athletes or makes anybody that is successful at whatever their craft is special. But if you do not control that, I think that puts you in a place where you have a disservice. And I think the reason why I'm mentioning that is I remember Aaron McKee, who was my vet when I came in the NBA.
Yeah.
He told me one time, Ronny, get in where you fit in. And when he told me that, I remember just looking at him like, what are you talking about? But I think that he was someone that told me, like, if the coach tell you, I want you to do this and this and this for you to play, why would you want to do something different?
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's my little thing that I see with the young players. And I think the players that are successful are the ones that are adapting to whatever their strengths are to what the coach is asking them to do. And I think that's when you see great players just becoming great and guys having long careers and so on and so forth.
Well, and I think that's one reason why guys like you are in such high demand as far as kind of that veteran force on the team, because, I mean, I know the different teams you've gone to, you've had different roles in each spot, and you've kind of been able to kind of morph and fill them really well, so that totally makes sense.
Yeah, I really consider myself a chameleon.
Cool.
Whatever I'm being asked to do, I'm going to do that. And I think sometimes I have a tendency to just maybe take on the chameleon mindset a little bit too much. But that's what has allowed me to win championship, to be in the playoffs, to be in an environment where we was winning, is because everybody was just doing their part to really just put the team first and really accomplish something special. And when you do that, you really have fond memories. And throughout my life and my career, I have experienced quite a lot.
Cool. All right, so let's just take a quick little kind of look retrospect at your career. Now, you had a great career. I mean, you made it to the NBA. You're a veteran. All that's great. But let's kind of take a look back. And if there's something, maybe one thing that you could tell maybe 13-year-old Ronny that would give, some great advice that would maybe speed up the process or help you out, what would that piece of advice be?
That's a great question. I would say that to not listen to the naysayers, because regardless of how much we don't want to listen to them, I think sometimes they have some kind of effect on us. And I think that the more you are able to stick with the process, and I think that's what I had to learn maybe at a later age, is that I was getting too frustrated, I think, at a young age with the process and not understanding the big picture and just worried about what was right in front of me. So stick with the process, because if you're putting X amount of hours, X amount of work, the big picture, whatever your goal that you are trying to accomplish, is going to get there.
Cool. All right. Well, so, at the end of your career, when basketball is no longer an option, what are you thinking you're going to do next?
I think I definitely would ride off in the sunset, first and foremost, for a little bit, because I think I enjoy my alone time, and I enjoy just grabbing a backpack and just going wherever the universe takes me. But I think that ultimately I would want to be involved with the youth in the Caribbean,
cool.
The youth anywhere where I can have an impact, where I can just share my knowledge with them. That's something that I'm very fond of, empowering other people, maybe coaching, but that's also on the business side of things. I definitely want to be involved into changing the world, changing the way things are being done and trying to have a positive impact on life.
Perfect. All right. All right. So kind of as we kind of move towards that, let's talk just a little bit about your foundation, Heart to Heart. I'm really intrigued at kind of the concept and kind of maybe tell us the story of how that all came about.
Well, it's simple. It's a promise that I made to myself when I was in my hospital bed. I was kind of talking to God and to the men upstairs and to whomever you want to call it. And I was like, you know what? Let's make a promise to each other. If you let me go through this this ordeal, this surgery, I promise to give back to the community and just try to help other people. So I created the Ronny Turiaf How to Have Foundation, and we're just trying to find ways to help other people because I know what it's like to not have help, to not know what to do, not know where to turn your head and who to talk to. And I had a rest in peace, Dr. Bus. But Dr. Bush really looked out for me. He paid for my surgery. I did not have insurance at the time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it was a pretty hefty bill. So I know what it's like to not have anything, and especially for me, growing up in the Caribbean and not having access to some of the things that people have access to here in America.
Yeah,
give me a little bit of perspective on things. So we just try to do whatever we can to spread awareness around heart-related issues, and that's something that I'm very proud of, and I will keep on doing.
Perfect. That's awesome. I love whenever we can hear somebody with some influence that kind of promotes things for the good.
I'm trying to, brother. Trying to.
That's really cool here. All right, so as we come down the home stretch, why don't you let my viewers know where they can connect with you? Maybe some social media or something like that.
Oh well, if they want to just follow me along my path, along my little line. They can just check me out on Instagram, Ronny Turiaf, RonnyTuriaf, or they can check me out on Twitter, same thing, but underscore between Ronny and Turiaf, Facebook, whatever. I try to just keep them involved into my daily life and just whatever I'm doing, that's pretty cool. Hopefully they can check it out, and if not, they can just check out my my website, ronnyturiaf.me, and we just try to keep it updated daily.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I love all the information that you gave our listeners. I think it's definitely going to help some people out. So, man, very much appreciated, and thanks.
Anytime, man. Anytime.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Talk to you later.
Bye.